the same time, I'm a member of the board of Chamber of Commerce and Industry France Kazakhstan. Today I will facilitate our discussion, and we are here to present you our knowledge and our experience about visa and work permit issues. And let me present my colleagues who are on the call. First of all, I would like Anar Hasenova to speak about our people and organization expertise within the company. Anar, please.
Thank you, Aliya. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all here and to have a chance to share about our capabilities and which is more important, the experience that we face on a daily basis with immigration and labor aspects, because those are the most important, because those are related to our people, and people, as you know, are the biggest assets. I hope that everyone is well and safe, and I'm pleased to introduce you our team. Today we have brought quite a big team, which consists of several streams that people in organization practicing in PwC Kazakhstan is engaged. It's immigration stream, it's labor and employment tax issues. Of course, it's personal income tax implications, and as well we have colleagues from P&O Consulting team, Tatiana and Danyar, which will speak about very important aspects related to health and safety during COVID, as well as other aspects. Our team is unique in terms of experience that we try to bring to our clients, because it's not a secret that it's very convenient if you have one provider which can be very universal, and we can start from trying to structure assignment in Kazakhstan in order for it to be compliant for the company and for individual, as well as be beneficial both for company and for your employees. And also because we are ready to support with ongoing aspects while your assignees are working in Kazakhstan. So we do support with ongoing compliance on immigration, on labor, on payroll, on accounting and corporate tax compliance, as well as any legal issue that can arise during the assignment in Kazakhstan. Those are very closely related, and it's very convenient when your provider have understanding in each of this area and can basically provide you the whole picture. You can now see on this screen. I understand that it's not very easy to perceive information when you don't see people, but to make it easier for you, we have presented the whole team on the slide. Here you can see people in organization. It's Tatiana Tsoy, Olga Khardaeva, and Danyar Sitkojin, who will be presenting also later today. On labor part, it's myself, Anar, and Aliya Ispohamedova. Also on the call today, we have Asel Kazbekova, our senior manager from legal team, and Asel Dusumova and Victoria Karabasova, who have prepared very interesting presentation for you, which is very valuable because basically it's not a theory, it's a practical summary of different cases that we have faced on our clients. And we very hope that it will be useful for you, and that if you have any issues like expats who stuck outside of Kazakhstan and do not know how to enter Kazakhstan during COVID lockdown, this presentation is particularly about these cases, how you can resolve this problem and how you can bring your people to Kazakhstan despite the COVID lockdown. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm passing the words to my colleagues. And one last word from me. Please do stop us while we will be presenting, because this presentation is for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to stop and ask, because we want this to be useful for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anara. Could you please write in the chat if my sound is good without echo?
It's good.
Okay, thank you very much. So one more introduction is about our role within Chamber of Commerce, because we are leading the working group on HR. And I would like Daniar Sithojan just to make a quick introduction. Daniar, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Elia. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to have all of you here. So just to give you an overview of what HR working group does within the CCIFK, generally it is it's a good platform, you know, to share. It's the right place to share experience, given that it unifies HR specialists from various industries, and these sessions has a lot of practical value. As Anara has mentioned, it's not just a theory, and it's also not only discussions that we have in HR group. It includes finding some right solution and advice to some practical issues. So we as PwC try to be very active on this in this group. We invite different speakers and come up with some relevant topics to discuss, like today. And we also do facilitation, establish connection among specialists, you know, to brainstorm, present topics. And even during this quarantine time, we already had some HR working group sessions to discuss some relevant hot topics. So that's an overview of HR working group. So please feel free to approach it, to approach us with any questions related to HR and other. Thank you.
Daniar, thank you very much. This was just to motivate you yourselves to become active participants of the HR working group within the chamber, since you can easily raise issues you are facing and connect and discuss with your counterparties. So let us start with our presentation. And before we start, just some administrative issues. I kindly ask you to mute yourselves, because there will be sounds which will interrupt the presentation. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and raise the question to our presenter. Either you can write that question to the chat, and I will let our speaker know. Today on our call, we have, like I would say, the most part of our people in the organization team. So if you have any questions related to personal, HR, legal issues, visa, work permit, etc., you can easily raise those issues. Please do not treat our answers as consultations. So if you wish to get any consultation from ourselves, please then connect to our experts. We will share our contact details. Thank you. And let me pass the word to Victoria Karabasova, our expert on immigration issues. Victoria, please.
Yeah, thank you, Alia. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, COVID-19 Consequences and Influence on Immigration Legislation. Thank you for taking time out and being here today, and I hope our webinar will be useful for you, and we will be able to share our experience and ideas. My name is Victoria, and I'm a Senior Associate of PwC Immigration Practice in Kazakhstan, and today we will be looking at the following topics. First of all, we will talk about chronology of COVID-19 spread in Kazakhstan. After that, we'll discuss actions that should be taken by the employer in regards to the documents expired during the state of emergency. And finally, the hottest topic is entry to Kazakhstan in terms of current restrictions. On January 27, a state committee preventing the spread of coronavirus infection, chaired by Deputy Prime Minister, was established in Kazakhstan. And effective from January 29, committee decided to suspend visa issuance for the Chinese nationals and passenger transportation with China. This was like the first stage of epidemiological control strengthening in Kazakhstan. During the following stages, Iraqi government approved COVID-19 treatment protocol, evacuated KZ nationals from abroad. Countries were divided into 3 categories depending on the risk of coronavirus infection. And finally, restrictions on entry to Kazakhstan and obtaining of permitting documents came into force. The first COVID-19 cases in Kazakhstan were detected on March 13, and on March 15, a state of emergency till April 15 in Kazakhstan was declared. Actually, this was a period with a lot of restrictions and obligations, and gradually almost all regions of Kazakhstan were closed for quarantine. We started to work and study remotely with no right to move within the cities unless it is strictly necessary. On April 14, state of emergency was postponed till May 1st, and then one more time till May 11. But at the same time, it was decided to go for relaxation of the quarantine regime in the regions, in the cities where the situations with the virus was under control. On May 11, the state of emergency was officially lifted, but anyway, restriction to enter the country is still applicable, and actually local chief sanitary doctors are in power to strengthen or relax the restrictive measures in regions. And now we can look at the influence of COVID-19 situation on KZ immigration legislation in more details. As you all might be aware, migration and labor authorities fully or partially suspended their work for the period of state of emergency. Effective from May 11, they resumed their work, but also not in full. In particular, labor authorities accept work permit applications only for those foreign employees who are currently in Kazakhstan. But actually, it was even possible during the lockdown period. As for migration authorities, they fully suspended their work during the emergency period and started to work after 11th of May, and also only for the employees who are currently in Kazakhstan. Obtaining of LOI is still suspended till November. And what about work permit process for foreign employees who are outside of Kazakhstan? Actually, it is also possible, but only based on the permission from the State Committee on COVID-19 situation. We will discuss this in more details a little bit later. State of emergency considered as force majeure circumstances, and therefore Iraqi government issued a resolution on the validity of documents expired during that period. Based on the resolution, several documents, including visas, temporary permanent resident permits, are still valid within 60 calendar days from the date of emergency completion. That means till July 10. The same is applicable for foreign nationals who arrived in KZ under visa-free regime and were unable to leave the country in time. They just need to depart till July 10. It is also important to mention that extension and replacement of expired documents to be processed without any administrative fines. Although it was also mentioned that work permit expired during the state of emergency also should be extended, but actually, in fact, it became clear that it's just impossible. All work permit processes are held online through a license portal, and therefore there is no function to submit renewal applications after expiration date. From this point, we can move to the scenarios that companies engaging foreign personnel can face with. First scenario, we can say the most favorable one. When a work permit was extended in time, but work visa expired as migration authority didn't work and foreign employee is still in Kazakhstan. In this case, the only action required from the inviting company is to submit application to migration authorities for visa granting. Standard processing time here is 5 business days, and actually, we expected like delays due to the workload, but in fact, applications are processed very fast and without any issues. Second scenario, unwanted one. now when work permit and work visa expired, but foreign employee is still in Kazakhstan. In case if employee is planning to leave Kazakhstan before July 10, no actions will be required from the inviting company. Employee just need to leave the country once flight is available. But in case if foreign employee is planning to stay after July 10, obtaining of work permit and work visa will be required. And as I already mentioned, it is still possible for those employees who are currently in Kazakhstan. Here we should keep in mind that all necessary actions should be taken in advance prior to July 10. Otherwise, failure to extend permitting documents or leave the country will be considered as legislation violation and will lead to administrative liability for the inviting company. The first scenario is applicable for the situations when obtaining of work permit or work visa is not required. For example, for the nationals of CIS countries and Eurasian Economic Union countries. Allowed duration of stay in country expired and inviting party was unable to extend stay duration and obtain temporary resident permit, former passport registration. And again, here, in case if employee is planning to leave Kazakhstan before July 10, no any actions required from the inviting party. But in case if foreign employee need to stay in Kazakhstan for a longer period, inviting parties should submit application to migration authorities and obtain temporary resident permit based on the employment contract, business trip order, work permit, and etc. Once again, I would like to pay your attention that all actions should be taken before July 10 in order to avoid administrative liability. And here we can move to the hottest topic, yes, as of today, it's how to bring foreign personnel to Kazakhstan in terms of current restrictions.
Sorry, before we move to that hottest topic, and I see already a question about that, I would like you to share experience, probably some of your recent experience about.
Sorry, Alia, I didn't hear you very well.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better.
So I would like to share if you faced the situation when your clients who had expatriates remaining in Kazakhstan during the quarantine period, whether they could easily get those documents using those scenarios, or practically there were some issues.
Yes, actually, we had a lot of cases during the lockdown period when we need to extend duration of work permits for our clients, and it was processed with any issues like as per standard process. We have extended work permits, and once migration authorities started their work after 11 of May, we was able to process with visa applications.
Thanks, Vika.
Any questions?
Do you have any other questions about expatriates who remained in Kazakhstan? You can unmute yourselves.
I have a question. Hello, everyone. I have a question, but not about expatriate. Can I ask if it's not about the expatriate, or can I? Or I will ask later.
This question which you wrote in the chat, yes?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that we will come to that question a bit later with the second part of Victoria's presentation.
Okay, thank you.
So if no other issues, let's go on.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I do have one question. I have a French national who has applied for a visa, which has been delivered in Paris, but he can't go there, and he can't get his visa. How can he get it? He created a company here, and he's applied for a C5, if I'm not mistaken, C5 visa. And I mean, the visa is ready, but he can't leave to get it. Do you have any advice on that? Thank you.
Even are we talking about Kazakhstan visa?
Yes. It's a French national. He's here in Kazakhstan, but his work permit and visa has expired. No. It's not expired, but it's no more actual because he changed his job position. He's not working for the company that applied for the work permit. Now he has his own company and applied for a C5 visa. He got it, and it's ready. But he can't get it because it's in Paris.
Okay. And he's
Sorry?
is he in Kazakhstan now or in
Yes.
France?
No, he's in Kazakhstan.
Okay, thanks.
Hello. Let me answer on your question. So
Thank you.
as I understood, he is in Paris. No, he's in Kazakhstan.
No. He's in Almaty. The visa is in Paris, but he himself is in Almaty.
So a very interesting question. So
Yeah.
probably Steven, what if our ladies connect with you later after that presentation and discuss all details? Okay.
No problem. With pleasure.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So starting my second topic, yes, I would like to remind everyone, yes, that effective from April 17, visa-free entry to Kazakhstan is suspended till November 1st. And what does it mean? It means that nationals of 57 countries who previously were eligible to enter KZ without visa and stay for up to 30 days now all required to have a visa to enter Kazakhstan. So what can be done in this situation? Here we also can indicate several scenarios. Scenario first, when we can imagine the situation when foreign national arrived in Kazakhstan on a visa-free regime previously, and based on current immigration legislation, he does not require a work permit to perform working activities in Kazakhstan. For example, it is CEOs of foreign branch representative offices, or CEOs and deputies of KZ entities with 100 foreign participation. In that circumstances, application for visa granting should be submitted to the immigration authorities, and as per standard processing time, visa will be issued within 5 business days from the date of application submission. Here we need just to remember that the list of documents required for the visa process is different from the one that we submit for standard work visa process, and additional supporting documents should be provided. And the second scenario, when the foreign employee is outside the Kazakhstan and he really requires to move to Kazakhstan for the project as soon as possible. Of course, this has never been the easiest process, actually, yes, or work permit, to get work permit, but now considering current restrictions, it became even more complicated. Obtaining of any permitting documents such as work permits, letter of invitation is possible only with the approval from the State Committee on COVID-19 situation. This committee includes representatives of relevant authorities, and only based on their common decision, companies might get approval to obtain all required documents. Processing time can take up to 4 weeks, so it means that in addition to our standard 25-30 days, yes, for work permit process, first we will be waiting for the State Committee decision for almost a month, and therefore we need to we recommend, yes, to proceed with such requests as soon as possible, especially when the role is really critical. Request is to be submitted by the inviting party, usually online, to the relevant authority, and should contain proper justification why it is really important to get this foreign specialist to join the project as soon as possible. It is also worth to mention that there is no 100% guarantee that it will be a positive decision. Yes, in case if members of committee think that justification is not sufficient, for example, in case of project or activity is not critical, permission might not be approved. But let us not concentrate on negative thoughts, yes, and let's discuss the situation when we eventually get approval from the state committee. So what does it mean for us as an employer? It means that now with this approval, we can apply for work permit, for letter of invitation, and for visa. This approval will also allow foreign nationals to enter Kazakhstan, even in terms of current restrictions. The same permission is also required for obtaining LOI for business visas, for entering KZ, for those who do not require work permit or visa, and even for demobilization of a big number of foreign personnel to Kazakhstan. Do you have any questions here?
Vika, I think that we can reply to the question of Simbat. And actually, this is a question that Simbat is from IDEMIA, Identity and Security France. And the question is, they need that specialists from France come for 5-6 days, starting from July, because they have some state contract. And can they apply for a multi-entry visa, and what is the process?
Mm-hmm. So employees should arrive for 5-6 days, yes?
In fact, thank you, Aliyah, first of all, and sorry for my nickname. I didn't realize it. It's account of my daughter. Yes, we have a contract, and we need technical experts to come like each month or maybe each 3 weeks, 3-4 persons for 5-6 day maximum to deploy a system in Kazakhstan. So we need someone to come every month, and of course we are searching for multiple entry visa. And what we've done already, we contacted with the migration police in Nur-Sultan, and they said that all the process of issuing of the LOI is ended.
Yes, that's correct.
What can we do? I mean, the contract is our customer is not doesn't pay attention on that and saying like it's not his
okay,
problem.
I understand. So here we're talking about business visa, yes, for provision of services, business visa category B2. So in this case, as I already said, you should apply. You should submit request to the state committee to get a permission and obtain a letter of invitation for business visa. Yes, and only based on this permission, migration authorities will accept your LOI application, even in terms of current restrictions. And based on this permission, employees will be able to get visa in their place of residence.
Okay, and if should we go for state committee with request, or our partner, state partner can do that? What is
it should be inviting company who applies for LOI, but also this request can be submitted by a third party. Yes, on behalf of your company. For example, our team is able to support you and to submit such request on behalf of you.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Because we asked our state partner, Ministry of Industry and Infrastructure Development of the Infrastructure, to help us and to initiate this visa request. So because the contract is investment contract. So you mean if they will not succeed, let's say we can go to you and okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dear colleagues and Simbat, we will share our, first of all, we will share the recording, and second, we will share our contacts and we will show this slide with our contacts. So if you wish like to ask some personal issue, you can contact our people later.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Simbat. Do you have any other questions? Dear colleagues.
Dear
One
colleagues.
question. Oh, sorry.
Okay, sorry, Stephen. My name is Karina, Alia, and Victoria. I want to ask you one question, if it is possible. So now we have a client who is already in Kazakhstan and who has a business visa of category B2. And now we have already submitted documents to obtain work permit for him and then obtain work visa. But state authorities, they just trying to they just regarding these documents, but the client is hesitated that he can't get the work permit and work visa till 10th of July. And we want to know, is there any possibility to just to I mean, is there any possibility to продлить, to
extend?
Extend, okay, the visa of category B2 now?
Actually, as per rules, it is possible to extend the visa category B2 for 30 days.
30
for
days?
1 month. Yes, but of course we need to check the documents first. Yes, in order to provide more accurate information.
Okay.
To need receive the documents.
Sorry, Karina, you can share your client's details later after the call, and we can discuss. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Stephen, you had another question.
Yes, it's a simple question. What is the name of the committee? I'm trying to search if they have a website or something.
Actually, it is a state committee on prevention of COVID-19 spread in Kazakhstan. It is chaired by the Deputy of Prime Minister. So you can check on the Prime Minister website.
Okay. It's on the Prime Minister website. Okay. It's just to understand how to contact them.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Any problem?
Hello.
Yes, I'm good.
Hello. My name is Asel. I'm from the company called Air Liquid Munaytech Gases. I'm from Nur Sultan. Nice to meet you, all of you. We have a question. We have a manager who has a C3 working visa valid. He is now in Kazakhstan. He has and his family is also in Kazakhstan. Did you have a precedent, or have you already experienced something like that when the expat who's working in Kazakhstan is leaving the country for vacation and then returns back? Does he have any problems with returning back to country? Because yes, he can leave the country, but with valid documents, can he return back, taking into account the current COVID situation?
In case if he leaves the country, it means that due to the current restrictions, he will not be able to return back without the permission from the government. So yes, even if he has visa, if he has work permit, anyway, while the restrictions are valid, he will not be able to return back. And you will need to proceed with a request to the government to obtain the permission, and only after that he will be able to enter the Kazakhstan.
And this permission can be obtained through this state committee as well?
Yes, exactly.
Have you had such a case with applying not only for the, let's say, some work-related requirements that it's critical that these people must enter the country, but for the reason when the person is returning back to his working place? Did you have a practice such a request to the state committee? Was it positive? Hello?
I think that there was some noise and part of your question was not, we couldn't hear part of your question. Could you please repeat once more?
Do you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, it's better now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wanted to just clarify that if we enter this state committee, did you maybe experience the positive outcome of this committee decision regarding not only work-related requirements, for example, when a person is needed because he's critically needed in Kazakhstan, but when the person just left the country for vacation and then he's returning back. Did you have such a thesis?
Yes, sorry, I had some problems with my connection, I suppose. Okay. Yes, we had such cases, but I need to mention here that this permission can be given only for the employee, not for his family, I mean. So in case if he leave the country leave the country with his family, then we will proceed, for example, with the permission for him to return back. In case if a decision will be positive, he will be able to return, but not his family, because permission is given only for the employee.
Mm-hmm.
Vika, we have another question. Could you kindly advise what should we do in case of if we need our foreign teammate for consultation and experience share for 3 months? He's from France. He will stay employed by France, but we will sign the two-party contract between Kazakhstan and France. How long can it take the visa process? Anastasia is from Decathlon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Anastasia, thank you. So as I understand, your foreign personnel will arrive to Kazakhstan to provide some consultancy, yes, to your company. So in that case, we again talk about business visa for provision of consultancy services. And the process is like the same as I already described. First of all, you will need to submit a request for getting the permission. And actually, we cannot indicate like the exact duration of this process. It can be 2 weeks, it can be 4 weeks, yes, depending on the authorities. And once permission is ready, you will need to apply for the letter of invitation, and usually it takes up to 5 business days to get this letter of invitation. And after that, the third step is that foreign employees go into the nearest KZ embassy, consulate, and submit application for visa. And this process also takes up to 5-7 business days to get the visa. And once visa is issued and he has this permission on hand, he is eligible to enter Kazakhstan.
I have a question. Yeah, just as we spoke about shift workers, I have rather general question, Victoria. Given you are based in Atyrau, where lots of shift workers are coming and leaving, what are some practical issues companies facing these days from the immigration standpoint? Rotational workers coming and leaving to Atyrau, and to which issues companies are facing because of this?
Sorry, well, I'm facing with some problems with my connection. Yes, of course, there are a lot of companies and with employees who are working on rotation basis, and of course they are facing with difficulties in getting the person back from the vacation, for example, and all these companies are processing with permission, with getting the permission to enter the Kazakhstan based on their visa.
So we have such positive cases and we helped our clients to resolve these issues, yes?
Yes, yes.
Mhm. Okay, we have another question from Murtaza. Murtaza asked that they have an employee who went on holiday before the state of emergency in Kazakhstan. And since that employee is in India, the company would like to bring him back to Kazakhstan. They have a ticket for the 2nd of July. Do they need to get a permission from the Kazakhstan government for him to enter to Kazakhstan?
Yes, getting a permission now is mandatory for everyone who would like to enter the Kazakhstan. Even if the person has visa, even if he has work permit, anyway, the first step is to get the permission in order to enter Kazakhstan.
This is because borders of Kazakhstan are still closed.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Dear colleagues, any other questions? Another question from Murtaza, which ministry, they should apply for this permission? Could you please repeat?
It should be applied to Prime Minister office.
To the office of the Prime Minister, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? You can unmute yourselves or you can write in the chat. Okay, I see another question from Mukhtar Yusupov. He spoke with operational headquarters of Aterao region. That's good because Victoria is actually from Aterao. And operation headquarters gave an instruction that employer need to write a letter to the chairman of operational headquarters with a request to get foreign personnel to Kazakhstan. And the employer should indicate the list of personnel and their detailed information after they get back with answer and additional instructions, and that takes 1 or 2 days. And for this moment, Mukhtar is waiting for reply from the chairman of operational headquarters. Is it different from what we are saying here during our presentation?
Actually, it's not different, but on our practice, we can see that for some regions and especially for some areas of business, the process can be slightly different. Yes, for example, in Atrao, where we have huge oil and gas companies and a lot of subcontractors, yes, who are engaging personnel to these projects. There can be some additional steps through Atrao Akimat from the headquarters, and they also making some internal approval process, yes, with these companies who are engaging personnel.
Mm-hmm. So this is like the process for some specific projects, as I understand?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And Mukhtar, if you have any problems, any issues, you can ask Victoria.
Yes,
Any
you can
other
contact
questions?
us. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other questions, dear colleagues? Okay, so should we go on?
Okay, so no questions there? Yes?
As of now, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I would like to talk about the requirements on provision of medical certificate when entering to Kazakhstan, because it is also like a huge question, yes, and the situation actually changing almost every day, and we got some new instructions almost every week. Well, in accordance with the last decree of Chief Sanitary Doctor, there are following requirements. First, it is isolation for 2 days in clinic for COVID-19 laboratory examination for all foreign nationals arriving to Kazakhstan. And in case of negative results, further self-isolation will not be required. But in case if traveler entering Kazakhstan has a COVID-19 certificate issued not later than 5 days prior to the border crossing, they are exempted from self-isolation. So, other words, if you're unable to get a PCR test in your country and you still can enter KZ without medical certificate, because examination will be done in Kazakhstan, but you will need to stay in a clinic for 2 days. But if you manage to get a certificate and it is still valid when you cross the border, you can go to the place of destination without any restrictions. At the same time, we should remember that now it is mandatory to provide a medical certificate almost to all KZ embassies during the visa application process. And this certificate should be issued not later than 48 hours prior to application submission. Why do I say almost all embassies? Because based on our recent experience, we can say that the requirements can be different depending on the location. Yes, for example, one embassy confirmed that in case if applicant got approval from the state committee to enter KZ, provision of certificate for visa is not required. But another embassy advised that certificate will be required, but not during the document submission, but only on the stage of passport collection. Therefore, our suggestion is to contact embassies, consulates, or you can contact us, yes, and in advance to clarify all requirements that are applicable to the relevant embassy or consulate in regards to the medical certificate. Any questions here?
Hello, my name is Aygul. I'm from Henkel, Central Asia and Caucasus. I have a question. This wording, like not later, is it incorrect? I mean, this should be like no, not earlier than 5 days prior to the border crossing, right? The sooner to the, I mean, the closer the date of the test to the border crossing, the better, right? Can you hear me?
So, Aygul, thank you for your question, Vika, because I understand that you have like some connection problems in Adral. So the wording in Russian should be не ранее or не позднее. Vika, can you hear us?
I think we lost Vika. In Russian, it should be не позднее.
Ну, даже на русском, как это тогда? Не позднее, чем за 5 дней до пересечения границы? То есть
получается, вот
не
получил
ранее,
справку, да? Да. Получил справку, и она как бы валидна 5 дней, да, и в течение этого времени нужно пересечь границу.
Ну, как бы немножко выразились неправильно, получается. Да. То есть, чем ближе она к пересечению границы, эта дата этого теста, тем лучше, да? Окей.
Да, верно. То есть идеально это, если он получил, допустим, и на следующий день уже он пересекает границу.
Понятно. Хорошо, спасибо большое.
Thank you, Aygul. I will repeat that in English. So here, the closer the date of the certificate, the better to the entry to Kazakhstan. Do we have Vika?
Yes, colleague. Sorry, I'm here. There is a problem with internet connection. That's why sometimes my Zoom is not working properly. I'm really sorry. So actually, this is all that I wanted to talk about today. And of course, we can say that current situation, yes, in the whole world is very difficult, and almost each sphere of life suffers from this COVID-19 virus. But we should stay like strong, yes, and consider it is a big challenge for us and our business, expand our expertise and become more flexible. And actually, our team, we will be happy to help you, to assist you with your issues. So if you have any questions, let's discuss further.
Dear colleagues, any issues about entry to Kazakhstan?
I have a question, but we can talk about it later if you want. But basically, I have been contacted by a French company who has a private customer here in Kazakhstan and who wants to order some furniture, and the French company would need to have a personnel from France coming to install the furniture. Can they get a visa for this, or because it's not a company that's inviting, or maybe my company would be inviting, but the customer is a private customer. I mean, it's a physical individual.
Yeah, we need to look at this case more deeply. So I think I think it would be better if we can discuss it further. Yes, to see
All right,
documents we have. Yes.
Waiting for your call then. Thank you.
Then I will share your contacts with Victoria.
Спасибо.
Any other questions about entry to Kazakhstan at the moment? Okay. Vika, do we have any other topics to discuss?
We have Aliya Ismuhamedov, yes, our labor specialist. I suppose she also has some interesting information on how COVID-19 influence on HR, especially in regards to rotation specialists.
Yes. Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, Aliya, we can hear you well.
Okay, I just, as HR, I just remind you that when expatriates come back to Kazakhstan, they need to clearly prepare all labor documents, all labor agreements, and they need to sign additional agreements. They need to, again, again look to their rotation schedule, again work schedule, yes, how to do, how they need to work in new situation, new work issues at as a shift, as a work, as a office employee, as a shift employee. And there are several rules in labor changes regarding contracts, regarding labor papers, yes, how to need to employer make some rules internally in each company regarding COVID, how to employees should work, how to they stay, how to they need to go to HEC issues, and the working time. So I just need to remind all employers that they need to make some internal policies regarding this situation, COVID, and sign with all employees. and due to changes in labor code on May 15, all employers also need to make all these changes in the labor employment contract of all employees, by signing of additional agreement. And also the big changes, this is the registration of labor agreement in the IMBEC KZ. So we started to this registration from 15th of May. So need to look for IMBEC KZ, how to all employers and how they need to register these labor agreements, and need to register the already terminated employees. All these issues are very hot also. Need to discuss. If you have some questions regarding this, we are happy to assist. And if you have some questions now about this, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you, Aliya. So I would like also to share information that we are conducting, like from the beginning of the state of emergency situation in Kazakhstan. We conducted several webinars related to people issues, related to the labor agreements, related to the sanitary measures which should be taken by employers in order to ensure health and safety within the organizations. And all these webinars are recorded, and you can see this recording on our web page. And I would like also Daniyar or Tanya to share the issues they faced within the HR group within the Chamber of Commerce. And if you wish to have separate discussions within our audience, we can discuss all these issues. Either we please become active participants of the HR working group of the Chamber of Commerce.
This is Tatiana speaking. Tatiana, Aliya, may I just maybe a couple of minutes, more minutes. I would like to share a very important issue that many companies, many employers are facing now. Is all of us today now we are living in a new reality and had to adapt to a new normal, so-called new normal. So, and as an employer, we have a responsibility to ensure that all risk of potential COVID-19 infections are properly identified, measured, and mitigated. So basically, actually, quite recently, we developed an informative, short informative leaflet about on this subject that we'll be happy to share it with you. So basically, each company needs to out how to assess, first of all, identify and assess these risks. So as a first step, assess each role, each job in the company in order to understand what kind of risk it may contain. So basically, we are talking about 4 risk level: high, very high, medium, low risk. And after that, every company needs to identify, select, and apply certain methods of protection on engineering level, on administrative level, to ensure safe work practices, and so on and so forth. And in the end of this leaflet, we also have a very quick self-assessment questionnaire, so it helps. It will help you to identify where you're now, and are you really prepared to face these challenges. And if you're interested in this subject, we would be happy, first of all, to share the leaflet with you after this webinar. And if you will feel that this topic you would like to more information or maybe discuss these problems, challenges that you are facing now about how to ensure safety in the workplaces, we would be happy to also arrange maybe a separate discussion either on a HR working group or maybe with this audience. We have activities in the area of health and safety, and we'll be more than happy to collaborate with you. If you are interested, we can share this leaflet in both languages, including a short video which is placed on the PwC website. And we hope that this information will be very useful for you. Daniel, maybe you can also say a couple of words.
No, basically, yeah. Just to remind you that we have this HR working group on CCIFK, where we discuss separate topics on, including the COVID. So you have contacts of ASEM from CCIFK. The email address is astana@ccifk.kz. So if you would like to raise any more questions related to HR, specifically in the COVID situation, please feel free to address.
Yeah, because currently every company from HR perspective is facing such challenges as, for example, yes, there is a crisis, but we need to go on, and perhaps you have such practical questions. How to proceed with your, for example, performance management cycle. What are you gonna do? What are your plans, decision in terms of career roundtable discussions, salary merit increase decisions, incentive payouts, so on and so forth. So we would be more than happy to arrange such kind of discussion, maybe general discussions, or if you have specific questions in the people management field, we are more than happy to arrange this for you on the floor of CCFK.
Thank you. And I would like to give some words. So we are mostly finalizing our presentation today. So we are very, very efficient. And I would like to give the last word to Asel Kazbekova, our legal senior manager, because she has some announcements. Asel, please.
Hi to everyone. Just a few words that today we're having another webinar at 4 o'clock dedicated to the issues of HEC and non-compliance with HEC requirements and what liability could occur. So if you're interested, please join. Today we're hosting it with an advocate, so it will be very interesting at 4 o'clock.
I said, could you please probably let everybody know how to join?
There is a link on our website, and if you're interested, you just can send us a request by email, and we can send you the link how to join it.
So, dear colleagues, if you wish to join that webinar, which will be today at 4 p.m. on criminal liability of an employer to ensure health and safety of employees, you can send your request to Asel Kazbekova. You can see her contact details within the legal contact.
Yeah.
So, dear colleagues, any other questions? Because we can already finalize our meeting today.
No questions. Thank you very much. It was very informative.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. So you can see the contact details of our experts on the screen. You can contact either directly those our experts, either you can send your questions via CCIFK. Thank you very much for your time and for joining today's discussion. We hope that it was very useful. And I wish you health and safety. Good day.
Thank you, Alia. Good day. And from the part of the CCFK, we thank you for this very practical and informative webinar. Have a good day to everybody and be healthy.
And just one last comment that the presentation will be shared.
The presentation will be shared. so great. So we could share it with all the participants of the webinar.
Asem, Murtaza, the webinar with Kazakh Invest, we still haven't received the presentations of the Kazakh Invest meeting.
Okay, we will contact you. Actually, it was already sent. Okay. Thank you.
So it was promised during the webinar, but I haven't still received the presentations.
Okay, we will occupy with this.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.